Hey guys, it's Will from the Back 40. Listen, I was thinking about something today, and I know when you hear what I have to say about this, you're going to be like, well, no kidding, Will. But have you ever thought about how hard it is going to be for this administration moving forward to try to solve the real issues facing rural America when they are constantly bogged down in the mud of chaos and investigation and conspiracy? Have you ever really thought about that? Have you ever really wondered how in the world are they going to create policy, find allies in the House and Senate to introduce legislation to specifically address rural health care, rural schools, and rural ag and economic policy when things are happening like what's happening with Tom Homan? And I'm going to make a personal comment here, and you can either agree or disagree. But I am losing my mind over the fact that the press secretary every day comes out with a cross hanging around her neck that represents my faith that has carried me through my entire life, and then lies from that podium every single day. And today was particularly bad. For those of you that haven't heard about the Homan scandal, let me explain to you what's happening. The FBI was carrying out an investigation at the end of the Joe Biden administration that had nothing to do with Tom Homan. It had nothing to do with him. They were down in Texas investigating a completely separate issue. And one of the witnesses in that case, one of the people that they were talking to in that case, told them, hey, by the way, did you know that the former immigration official that served in Donald Trump's administration, Tom Homan, did you know that he's out here talking to people and basically taking money, taking bribes, so that in the event he enters into office again, Trump, and Homan is placed in a position of authority, he is offering companies the possibility of doing business with the federal government if they will pay him cash money now. And this witness in this totally separate case that the FBI was investigating actually said, go offer him $1 million. Go see what he says. Go see what he does. And they were hearing this from more than one witness. They were hearing this about Tom Homan from more than one witness in this case. And it finally reached a crescendo where they said, where there's smoke, there's fire. We need to look into this. And sure enough, guys, it reads like a thriller novel from the 1970s. Sure enough, they have undercover officers go out and meet with Tom Homan and offer him $50,000 in cash if he will set aside time with the president, with the administration, or give them preferential treatment in regard to getting a contract for their imaginary business if Donald Trump wins re-election again. And he took the money. I want you guys to understand this. He took the cash money in a bag from the FBI agents. And we know one of two things. It's either on audio tape or it's on videotape. And it is in the possession of the FBI. It is on audio tape or it is on videotape. Tom Homan taking cash from undercover FBI agents, taking cash and promising them that in the event that Donald Trump is reelected, he will get them preferential treatment for contracts with the federal government. And it's on tape or it's on video. We know one of those two things is true. Fast forward. Donald Trump is elected president. We have these new FBI leaders coming into the FBI, and they quote unquote carried out a deep dive investigation into what happened with Tom Homan, and they have ruled that there is no fire where there is smoke, that this did not rise to the level of a crime. What in the hell are they talking about? The man was out taking cash money in a paper bag and promising businesses, if Donald Trump is elected, I will use my authority in the new administration to get you preferential contracts with the federal government. And he took cash money in a bag to do this. This is the very definition of illegal and unlawful. Now, the FBI was waiting for Trump to take office because in a real world, in a normal world, in a regular world, which is not a world that we exist in anymore, the crime of bribery would actually occur when Trump took office and Tom Homan actually carried out the act of giving them the preferential treatment. Now, don't kid yourself. What he did by taking the cash and offering the assistance, that was a crime as well, but it was not the crime of bribery. That would have occurred once Trump came into office and Tom Homan actually carried out the act. But what he did was still a crime. They were waiting to see if he was actually going to commit the crime of bribery once Trump came into office. But as always is the case, the grift, the crime, it's all swept under the rug. So they looked into the circumstances surrounding Tom Homan. And with a cross around her neck, the press secretary comes out in front of the cameras today and makes the statement, Tom Homan did nothing wrong. Tom Homan did nothing wrong. My friends in rural America, if we exist in a country where taking a bag of cash and making the promise that if Donald Trump is reelected, I will get you preferential treatment in regard to contracts with the federal government, if we are so brainwashed, if we are so blind that we can look at that at face value and say there is nothing wrong with that, then our country is lost. Unless there are enough people who love this country enough to stand up and call us out for the fools we really are. And that's the only way we can be categorized. If we're sitting here in rural America wondering why people are saying FAFO, wondering why they're saying you're getting what you voted for, and here I am every single day pushing back and saying, no, that's not how you approach my people in rural America. And then something like this happens where Tom Homan gets a bag of cash to give people preferential treatment in this new administration. And we say, yeah, that's okay. Nothing wrong with that because of an allegiance to Donald Trump. Then how can we turn around and push back against FAFO? How can we turn around and push back against your voting against your best interest? How can we turn around and push back against this is what you voted for? We have got to wake up to the realization that this administration does not have our best interest at heart. With the tariffs destroying foreign markets, with the Medicaid cuts closing our rural hospitals, with vouchers and private school funding taking money away from our rural schools, causing them to close or go to 4-day school weeks. They do not have rural America's best interest in mind. And it is apparent and it is obvious. It's as obvious as a rattlesnake laying on the trail. And we might as well be walking barefoot down that trail if we're going to ignore the flashing red lights of incompetence, grift, and illegality. We've got to begin voting for our best interest. We've got to begin voting for candidates who will push back against this kind of illegality and grift. How much more can our country take? How much more looking the other way is it going to take before these detrimental effects on rural America cause us to make the decision, even if you've got to hold your nose to do it, to support candidates that will stop this and will pull back foreign markets for our agricultural products and will fully fund our rural hospitals and will fully fund our rural schools. There comes a time when the tribalism of politics is a step too far, when it overwhelms the policies that protect our children and our families and our businesses and our farms and our way of life. And that time has come, and it's now. And now is the time to put up or shut up, to step up and do the right thing. Because brothers and sisters, much more of this, and there won't be a rural America to protect anymore.